Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And I am live in San Francisco, California, and we are here for our first live recap of Counterpart Season 2, Episode 2, Outside In. And I'm very thankful to have this show back. It had an incredible Season 1. I hope you all got caught up on it and watched it. It was my favorite new show of 2018, and it is back. We did our first review as just a video, and now we are going to be doing these live from here on out. I hope everybody is having a great evening and welcome. I will be spoiling the episode, so hopefully you've watched it. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it and then come back and watch this as a video, because that's where it'll be. It'll be a video on the channel. So welcome everybody. How's it going? We have a lot of new subscribers, so you might not know that we mainly review television here. We do television news as well, but we like television and we like good television. When we mostly review good television, Counterpart is good television. Now, episode 2, Outside In. Let's get going, and then I'll get to the chat. I don't know how I'm feeling about this season yet, guys. It's kind of a slow burn, to be honest with you. I did like episode 1. It didn't blow me away. See, got the expectations up because last season, the first 2 episodes were just jaw-dropping. And now they're kind of slowly building things up. We started season 2 being on our side, being on the regular side. And we saw Howard Prime, who took Howard Silk's place. We saw his Emily waking up. She has no memory. We also got a peek at management, which I'm not sure how I feel about this. I had management, I had something different in mind, but I think they're going to be pulling an old twist on us. And I still think, even this early, that management is playing both sides against each other in some grand experiment, or it has something to do with the 2 realities or the nature of the 2 realities. But we got some big stuff. We got a lot of answers this episode, which leads me, I don't know, when you get answers early in a show like this, which is supposed to be twists and turns, they end up being, I don't know, they're trying to trick us. I think they're just trying to trick us, which is good. That's good storytelling. I like to be tricked. I don't want to know what's coming. So this was a very Emily Prime centric episode, but we get to see the mysterious Mira, who ran the school, the Indigo School, for training the children to act like they're others so they could infiltrate our side. Now, this is over vengeance because of a pandemic that happened in 1996 that wiped out a large portion of the population. So they want to take revenge on our side. To what end? We do not know. What we know, they want to take over. They want to take some people's places, but we don't really know why. Not yet. And I'm glad we don't know why. So, and when we saw management at the very end, it was these old computers and cases, and it looked like old guys and old men and women who were in control of it. So I think it's probably has something to do with the scientists who did the original experiment, which we still haven't seen, which I suspect we will. I will state early on, before I even get to my review, that I'm concerned for the show. The overnight ratings are not good. Maybe this is a show that's streamed, and maybe that's all they care about, and I hope so. And maybe the streaming is on Amazon, which I watch it on Amazon Prime. Hopefully lots of people are watching it, because the overnights were awful. But maybe they don't care, so hopefully. So we see Mira, and she and Aldous, the guy, they leave the school, of course, leave the children to die. And he is, rightly so, feeling a little bit guilty, feeling like a coward. So Mira makes him feel better by giving him a hand job. So, sometimes that works, especially when you kill a bunch of children. And then later we'll see a quick scene of Howard Silk. We finally see our Howard. He is still imprisoned by the Prime side. He is being interrogated. They want him to basically spy on his Emily, and he gave him the same answer that he gave Pope, which is nope, not going to do it. I'm just an innocent in all this. My wife was in danger, and I was just trying to help him. My other thought he could protect her, and I got kind of screwed in this deal, which he did. Now, I have suspected this whole time that Howard is just pulling some kind of game on everybody. And I still kind of think that. And the reason I think that is this whole show is based on the game Go. Okay. And we see how Howard Prime is, and supposedly they're not supposed to be different from their others. Now, something happened to make Howard Prime and Howard Silk very different. And we find out this episode, which I'll tell you in a second. I'm not sure how I feel about how finding that out. So Emily, who was recently, just in a drug rehab and in a lot of trouble with her job, has suddenly been whisked up to management. They had a boardroom meeting, and she was pissed because she was the one dissenting voice saying, "Hey, let's work with these people. Say we need help. Let's not, say we didn't know anything about it," which caused our side to close the doors to the crossing. She ended up being right. And I guess management recognized this, and they whisked her up to the fourth floor and gave her a promotion. And she is now in charge of strategy. I do wonder why there's so many American people in Germany, because this takes place in Berlin, but there is. And when we went to see management on the fourth floor was empty, didn't have carpeting or anything. And it turns out she was just talking in front of another camera to a representation or somebody who represents management that she will never see again. As she turned this promotion, for one, they threatened her. They said, "Hey, you helped somebody illegally cross, and we could bust you for that. But if you work with us, we'll promote you." So she's all okay. And then she turned it into a negotiation to try to get Howard out. And they agreed to do that. So she had tried to visit Howard, and they had denied her. She had a couple awkward meetings with Ian, who's still butthurt over her bailing on him. And Ian was such an idiot. I know he was written that way, but he was supposed to be an idiot. He's being a little better. He was actually flirting with somebody else, who I suspect is probably the other side, because I think everybody's on the other side in this. So it turns out Emily's first mission, they give her the name Mira, and they say, "You need to hunt her down." And part of this whole deal of her getting promoted is she's supposed to kill Mira. I don't know how that helps, because our side wants Mira taken to them, and they will open up diplomacy if they get Mira. But then they instructed her to kill Mira. So, interesting. She gets led to a Schmitt family, and we find out. I always thought the kids at the Indigo school had to go there because they were all victims, like their parents died from the pandemic, so they got them from orphanages. But it turns out some parents donated their kids to the Indigo program, and the Schmitt family is one of them. So this Emily has to talk to the Schmitt family. She talks Ian into joining her team again, and a kid named Eli, who ends up being a complete dumbass this episode. So that we also get another interrogation with Howard Silk, and he maintains his story, but they play him a recording, which is really fucked up. And it's a recording of his Emily on the phone telling somebody not to promote him from his job. So he's always wanted to get to strategy, and he always got his promotion always got denied. And it turns out it was Emily who was behind the denial of his promotions, which sends him reeling in his cell. In the meantime, Emily meets with the Schmitt family and tells them that their kid is still alive, and they said their kid was dead. So I don't know if they, because the management had said they donated their kid, if they were just telling a story and they knew about it, or if the kid actually got taken. But I think they were just telling a story. Emily says, "Hey, if you work with me, I can protect you." And the wife is having none of it. The husband, though, is kind of maybe. So he later finds Emily and says, "Hey, I'll give you Mira. You think I can really see my son?" She says, "There's no promises, but we can try." So he sets up a meeting with Aldous Frey, and tells Emily that and that's probably the closest they'll get to Mira. Tells her about the meeting. So they stake it out. They see the meeting, and they follow Aldous Frey back, and they think they can get to Mira. And this kid Eli, this new kid on the team, they're waiting outside the building to go raid one of the offices of the Indigo, of the Project Indigo. And Eli, for some reason, just can't wait. And disobeys orders and just goes flying in, which I thought that was kind of dumb. Okay, I did. And he ends up getting shot by Frey. Ian almost gets shot, but he saves Eli's life. And of course, Emily pursues him. And Frey, they're on the top of the building, and Frey turns around and he knows Emily, and he's all, "Oh, it was you." And then he of course jumps and kills himself. So that was a big reveal that the other Emily might be behind this whole Indigo thing. Now, earlier, this was the big scene. I wanted to save this for last. This happened a little earlier. Emily visited Howard in his cell, and he tells her that his Emily stopped him from getting the promotion. Of course, she's in there to let him out. She's like, "Hey, we're going to get you out of here." And they have, or at least she got him a visit, and hopefully she'll be able to get him out. And they have a little talk, and he tells her that. And then she goes, "Well, maybe she had her reasons." And he's all, "Why are you trying to defend her?" "Well, maybe because I did the same thing." And we find out that this is where the Howards separated. Is Howard Prime found out that Emily on his side also stopped him from getting a promotion, and that caused him to go full secret agent for some reason. So those two Howards were alike until that moment. And then how, I don't know. I'm trying to compute this in my head, okay? Because then Howard turned into a super spy after that, and he apparently has been working with Pope, who was working with the Indigo program. And it turns out that Emily on our side might have been doing that as well, maybe even heading the program or heading it with Mira. We're not sure, but we're learning this so early that I think this is all, I don't know. I think it's all a trick. I think it's all a trick. So yes, and Howard is pissed when he finds out at this Emily. He's pissed at his Emily, and he's pissed at Emily Prime. He tells her to go pound sand, don't come back. And Howard does not cooperate. So the guy interrogating him recommends that management send him to Echo, which is a really bad place, apparently. So that's where he is off to go. Then we find out the guy who was interrogating Howard Silk this whole time works with Mira. And apparently there's only two people left of the whole Project Indigo that are alive now, and it's this guy who was interrogating and Mira. Now, Mira could have been lying, and I suspect that. It looks like Mira, uses whatever she can to get what she wants. We'll just say that. And she says, "It's just you and me now. Frey is gone." And yeah, and Howard is off to Echo, which is a prison, I'm guessing. And we saw the scenes. So we saw, and he's going to go get interrogated. And Emily has a little talk with Ian at the end. And she talks about, "Hey, it's my other. I saw, I was looking at some of these files that we got from the Indigo office, and it turns out they had a file on everybody in the Crossing office, and they had a file on her." And then she was looking at some of the pictures, and she's like, "Look at the time step on this. This couldn't be me. I was in the clinic at the time." So it turns out Howard Silk's Emily was on the Prime side. So it looks like she was definitely up to something. But again, I think it's too soon. I think what we're being shown now is not how things are going to go down at all. We did also see a quick scene with Howard Prime's daughter. She has blonde hair now. She broke up with a boyfriend. That's about it. But this episode was all about Emily. It really didn't have a lot of Howard in it. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm still liking it. But it's something's different. And I don't know what it is. Something feels different from season one. Maybe that's meant to, but I'll be honest with you guys. I'm getting a little bit of a Westworld season 2 vibe. I hope not, but I hope not. I really hope not. Let's see what the people think. Let's see what the people think. And J.K. There was that. Yeah, I don't like it when there's not a lot of J.K. Simmons in my J.K. Simmons show. And we needed to honestly, Emily's an important character and she's a good character. But yeah, that's just how I feel. Let's get to the folks here. I hope people actually watch the episode. How's it going? uh, we're getting to Counterpart is sci-fi drama. It needs to lay down the foundations for the big bad, says Tarka Jedi. They do, but who is the big bad? Because I don't think Mira. I think she's one of the big bads, but she was shown to be the leader of the school. For one, she hasn't aged very much because the scenes we saw her in, and we saw a young Claire. So it's been about 15 years, I'll say minimum. Um, yes, my woo woo brain wants aliens for management. No, I want something a little weirder than just old guys with a computer, but I think it might be. I think it might be. So it's too early to tell. Yes, management is definitely evil. I think management is the big bad. I will agree with that. I think Mira um, is oh she is a cold blooded psychopath. That's why I know this show has set up uh, the characters that this show has set up are too complex to just bring in a mustache twirling psychopath who gives hand jobs. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. She is quite slippery. I'm missing Pope. I thought Pope was a good villain. Stephen Ray was awesome, and he might have another out there. And we're also, yeah, Aldrich. Aldrich. There are two characters that are missing from this show that you feel it. You feel it. There's two big characters that like I'm noticing their absence right now. Uh, oh wow, man. Thank you for the $100 super chat, Tamrox. Jesus Christ. I am just loving the show now that we have two Emilys on the show. We're getting really good. She's really good, in my opinion. Emily and Howard are just so interesting. Loving this show. As long as they focus on them. And I think, here's what I think is going to happen, which will be really good, folks. I think this is going to turn into Emily versus Emily, Howard versus Howard, and it's going to kind of crisscross. And I think, and everybody else are just that. Yeah, they're going to be a body count by the end of I mean, they showed in season 1 they're not afraid to kill main characters. So I did not find her threatening at first, but the cold-blooded killing at the end of the show shows how violent she is. Yeah, just sitting at the table, and she by the way, she found out that the Schmitts had betrayed her, and she sat at their table and shot them both. And then she met over their dead bodies. She met the interrogator and talked about her next plans. Yes. Dan Palm says hand jobs tend to work. They do. They do. Yes, you're right, Mako. She wasn't making him feel better. She wanted to make him follow her with sex. It's an old KGB technique. Yeah. It was calming him down and manipulating him. That's what she was doing. She uses sex to manipulate people to get what she wants. And that's what I was insinuating at the beginning of the show. And yes, that's a spy technique. It's not just KGB. That's CIA too. And yeah. But yeah, considering that like they had just walked away from a bunch of burning children, and then she gives them a hand job. That is pretty cold blooded. I think management are involved with the pandemic. Tarka Jedi, yes. This pandemic, there's two things we haven't seen that I look forward to seeing with this show. We haven't seen the release of the pandemic, which I think they'll show just through news or whatever, and we haven't seen the accident. And I think they're waiting for. I thought they would show it in season 1. I'm kind of glad they didn't. It is interesting when people swap worlds; they act like they're counterparts in the same situation. I think that is too, per comics. And they did say that this was a copy of reality. So and that's what they found fascinating, is that people are starting now to act different, and they're not really sure why, and there's something wrong with that because they're not supposed to. But that's a interesting thing that you bring up, Tarka Jedi. Do you think that management introduced the pandemic to see how they needed to introduce an element to really differentiate one side from the other? So they possibly introduced the pandemic to do that as just some big experiment. Ooh, that's cold blooded. Perth Comics, I agree with you. I think there is more than Two Worlds 2. I could be wrong on that one, but I just a lot of shows like to tell you things. Well, every show, as it's called aesthetics. So every piece of scenery and everything is supposed to be a part of the story. And they love to foreshadow things. So the credits, if you look at the credits, you see two silhouettes that I assume is Howard, and they're on the Go game, right? They're on the game of Go, and they're putting their hands up to the wall to each other, and then they back up and you just see infinite number of rooms because there's an infinite number of moves in Go, which we were talking about on the Exozone last night, and that's a possibility. uh, uh, the Go reference is a secret to the understanding the entire show. One side is light, the other side are dark. We assume which is, but I suspect our world's the dark one. Um, I agree with you, Tarka Jedi. I do. I think they've always tried to put the Prime world as kind of the bad one, because they're the ones with Indigo. I think it's you know what, I think it's going to be more like there'll be factions in each side that are bad, and there'll be factions in both sides that are good. I don't know if it's going to be one good side or the other. I don't think the Prime side is bad though. There is a monster twist coming, Dan Palm. They're totally saying us, and by showing us this much stuff early, they're definitely gonna pull the rug out from under us, which I love. I love when a TV show does that. That's my favorite. Um, it be my local library has Counterpart season 1 on DVD. Audit Watcher, get it. I just placed it on hold. Yes. Oh man, good. Props to your library. Um, The world split into two universes like Go. The Darkstones, I think, are the side from series 1 we mostly see. I think they did send the pandemic. Yeah, I totally think management did. I am expecting a huge reveal. Me too. Uh, they are sending J.K. Simmons back to Oz. Oh no, that's bad. Put your spoons away. Uh, Oh, well, I feel better, DJ Bowman. Yeah, you can go ahead and listen. I really believe that the Prime side appears good, but they actually are the dark. Yeah, I don't know. I think management, I mean, even one of management before Mira killed him said, "Hey, I was like, they knew her." So Mira used to work for management. She said it in the beginning. She said when the guy from management was like that school, the kids, and she was all, "I was just willing to do something you weren't willing to do." It's to me it insinuated that that was maybe a project that they abandoned or something like that. And management totally knows who Mira is. Um, and at the end of this episode 1, they were all in agreement that they needed to find Mira. uh, and then they Emily asked why was I promoted. Well, it's obvious why it's the same reason they promoted. I mean, this is the same management that promoted Peter Quayle. Okay, so these aren't like they're either they're up to something no good or they're just complete dumbasses. And I think they're just up to no good. I don't think they're dumbasses. They know what's going on. They are aware of everything that's going on. There's cameras everywhere. Plus, I think there's something more to what they are. My original vision of management, guys, was that they were it got blown now, but they were trapped. Like they were part of the experiment, and they're trapped in their own little world, and that's why they're on cameras, and they manipulate everything to try to get home or something like that. But that got blown out of the water. So now they are on cameras for security reasons, for obvious reasons. And Mira was still able to find one pretty easily, but she didn't get the case. She didn't get the case. Fucking Quail is here. Fucking Quail. There was no Quail this episode. That's what was. I mean, like, honestly, our side is more interesting than theirs. It is because of Quail. It's got Quail and Claire. Um, I need to see more doubles too. I definitely need to see more doubles. And I think we need to see where's Ian's other. Where's Peter Quayle's other? Where's Pope's other? Where's Aldrich's other? We know that Aldrich's other got what he got his heart broken or something like that. Help me out here. And he freaked out or something like that. Something like that. I don't know. Uh, there's lots of others out there. So, yeah, I think we'll find out that maybe, well, if there was an Indigo school on their side, no, our side wouldn't do that because we didn't have the pandemic. But now that I talk about it more, it's yeah, the management definitely released the pandemic, and I think it's part of an experiment just to see what would happen. Um, the others you don't see died in the plague. A lot did. RoboBrain, 10,000. Good to see you. Been a while, man. What's up? Yeah, but I think they're waiting too. They're definitely bringing in some others of people we know. How many others have we seen? Trying to work this out in my head here. We've seen Howard Prime, and we've seen we know Claire's is dead. Baldwin is dead. We haven't seen Baldwin in 2 episodes. That's another thing that's missing. Um, Baldwin's is dead. So we got Emily, we got Howard Prime. What about Jamie Bamber? I mean, they brought Jamie Bamber in the show to be like a shitty little brother, and then he's gone. I was fully expecting him to be some badass spy on the Prime side or something like that as Emily's brother. Uh, you know, uh, yeah, so I'm wondering when he's going to go. Apollo from Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, we haven't seen many other people's others, so I think we're waiting for that. Quail is too lucky to die in the pandemic. Maybe his other was completely unlucky. Um, we were talking about this last time. Was it in a live stream? I really want them to explore the whole luck thing with Peter Quail. I want that to be something from the experiment. Like he like his yeah, he really is like that lucky, and it has something to do with reality splitting. That there's more than just the reality split. Like it does have effects on reality somehow. That would be interesting. I want to see I want to see 2 more women that were taken out last week. Show us many universes. Yeah, Alice. And Tamrox, thanks again for the super chat. I just see it sitting up there. I'm like, God damn. I'm glad you love it. Gary, there's more building infrastructure on the pandemic side. Odd that there is less people per comics. Yes, I pointed out in my last review that if there's less people, if there's less population, why are they building? Why? Yeah, there's noticeably more building, and you see cranes in the background, so that means they are continuing to build. So I don't know what's up with that. Unless the pandemic, part of the reason you introduced the pandemic is well, it's kind of goes along the theory of kind of the ice age. Like certain civilizations did better because of strife. They were forced to innovate, to survive. So that's why that's why some civilizations stayed hunter gatherers for a long time, and then Sumeria was built up or something like that because of strife, because they had to. Um, and they just started working together. Also, you need to have surplus. I mean, there was a lot of food and stuff, and so maybe that's what's behind the building. They were just forced to work together. The people who did survive, they had more unity, something like that. I don't know. Well, I mean, because after the plague, the Black Plague, we got the Renaissance. So I know I'm just throwing shit out here. I'm spitballing here, folks. Humans usually like building and rebuilding after pandemics, wars, and destruction. Exactly, Mako. The Thanos and Eros duality of humanity. There you go. Preparing for war can create construction boom. It can. It's going to be a kind of a funny war, though, if they're all trying to fit through a doorway. It's going to be like 300. Yes. Uh, yes, Tommelfinger. Yes, the pandemic. That's what I think. I think. Um, let's see. Okay. So yeah, I've caught up on the chat. We're going to probably end it there. We're going to keep this one short. If you want to continue talking about it, I will be back for the Monday. I'm available for 3 live streams a week. Monday and Wednesday is the Nerdrotic Nooner at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. And then Friday night is Friday Night Tights at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Our next show is the Monday Night Nooner. We are, of course, covering a lot of TV. We got The Runaways coming up, The Orville coming up, Star Trek Discovery, Project Blue Book. Lots of good shows coming up. And of course, we have Counterpart every Sunday at 7:30 Pacific time, depending on when I can watch it. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you heard. Please, if you haven't watched Counterpart, go watch Counterpart. Tell a friend. We need as many people as possible to like this show. It needs more viewers. And yes, thank you, Mary Ashmead, Movie Fanobi, Penn Farm Girl, Mako, our brilliant wrenches. Thank you so much for showing up. I do appreciate it. And Hound 3000, Old Tube 02, Tarka Jedi, Dan Palm, Tommelfinger, fucking Quail, Red Rocket, Mark Lazarth, Perth Comics, Robo Brain 10,000. Good to see you. DJ Bowman, hope you're feeling better. And of course, Tamarok, thank you for the $100 super chat. James, welcome. Going up the list here. Rod Strayer. James. Oh my God, how did I miss your super chat? Jesus Christ, James. James for 20 pounds. Gary, what did I do at Tesla? What did I do at Tesla? I worked in parts. I worked in parts. Yes. They hired me to kind of build up the parts department. They had a lot of people who were inexperienced. So they actually sought me out on LinkedIn. I didn't ask to work there. They sought me out, recruited me. I went there, and the whole deal was I was to kind of help them get a parts department going because they had hired a lot of people who were inexperienced. So I had a lot of experience in it. So they wanted me to come in to kind of, show them the ropes and stuff and how to build a parts department. Then, of course, they went to completely never listen to anything I said. And we went to a lot of meetings and changed plans every 2 weeks. And that's why I left. Too many meetings. Yeah. So thank you for the 20-pound super chat. Yes. It's honestly, it's a good place to work if you're a youngster and you don't mind changing your plans every week or so. I was too old for that shit. So there you go. Plus, I was planning on leaving anyway. I was planning on going there for like maybe a year, maybe 2, and opening up the comic shop. And we ended up doing this early. I was a parts guy. Yes. Doors and corners, everybody. Doors and corners. Yes, I know. Teslas are awesome cars, though, folks. Just don't buy the Model 3 in the first year. Wait a couple years before that one comes out. There might be some bugs, but they are excellent. They're the best cars I've ever fucking seen, to be honest with you. So goodbye, Tarka Jedi. Goodbye, everybody. You all have a great evening, and go to nerdrotic.com for the live schedule. And I will see you next time. If you're just here for Counterpart, I'll see you next time. By the way, Kato Roan, thank you so much. But yeah, if you want to keep talking about it, come talk to me Monday. Look for a Doctor Who videos coming out in the next few hours. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.